Shalom, Yasharala. This is your brother Dawada, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for your Akim pushing this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I want to jump into this here article, which is pretty much, Putin calling out the West, all right? And, according to, scriptures, this is going right into it, about he neither keepeth at home. He is a proud man and transgressors by wine, all right, who gathers unto him all nations. All right, when, we go into this quite often, but, bringing out the fact of the reason why he's gathering all these nations unto him. All right, the fact of the matter is to what? To rule over them, to suck the resources dry of that land. All right, you have to understand that this is part of America's doctrine. They used to call it colonialism. All right, but hey, this is the same thing. This is part of Esau having rulership over the world. All right. It says Putin accuses the West of demanding hegemons rent from humanity. All right. And hegemony is pretty much just ruling over top of these people, man. Complete dominance. All right. So it says the world is being robbed through the power of the dollar and the technological supremacy of the West, the Russian president says. All right. And, they have I forgot what the term is called, but it's like land deals or something like that, where they'll trade. Like, for instance, they got one of these with Ukraine. All right, to where there's like, hey, we'll send you guys weapons and we'll send you guys like what, you see them sending them arms and everything else like that. But it's like they know that Ukraine don't have the money to pay them back. So what they do is they say, hey, give us a lease on the land for X amount of years and we'll put a military base over there and everything else like that. And in the process of that, they suck all the resources dry. All right, so they give you, it's like just like, you see Jake be going to these buy here, pay here's and these big loan places and stuff like that. You have to put down collateral. Well, in this case, what America does is put down the land as collateral, all right, and the resources therein. All right, it says the world is being robbed through the power of the dollar and technological supremacy of the West, Russian president says. The Western elites, led by the U.S., are exacting tribute from all of humanity and will do anything to protect their privileged position, the Russian president Vladimir Putin has said. I want to grab something real quick because, hey, this is going into, scriptures as far as let's grab this. Let's start over here first real quick in Job chapter 9 and verse 24. All right. And where people, fail to look at, I went into a video not too long ago about, how they calling us these hate groups and extremists and everything else like that. Hey, man, like the scriptures say, have we become thy enemy because we tell you the truth? All right, when you look at these things, we're not doing any of these things, man. The same things that we're saying, all right, it's not a racial bias of anything. Hey, man, we're saying the same thing that these other nations are saying, man. We don't know no goddamn Russians or nothing like this, man. All right, we don't know none of these folks over there, Vladimir Putin, none of them, or none of these other world leaders. But it's funny and ironic that the same things that the scriptures speak about these people and say about these people, the same thing is actually these these people are actually coming forth and speaking. Like the prophets say, the visions yet for an appointed time. At the end, it shall speak and not lie. All right, now the scriptures speak about these things, and yet you starting to see these things play out in real time. All right, and we don't have we don't have any involvements with any of these things, man. We're not up in the U.S. government creating policy to go over to these different nations and overthrow governments, take land and take resources and things like that. We're not over there doing any of these things, man. We don't have no power, no position in these things, man. The only thing we're doing is being the watchmen, all right? We're reading the scriptures and seeing what's written therein, all right? And when we see these things come to pass, first of all, we warn you before they come to pass, and then we call them out when they come to pass. All right, so it says Job 9 and 24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? All right. So hey, the earth was given into the hand of the wicked. All right. And we know that right now, like not the scripture, the article is going into about how the West is ruling over the whole earth. All right. When they say the West, it means really it's, you have certain Western nations and things like that, not specifically in the Western hemisphere, because the majority of the Western nations are in the Eastern hemisphere, all right, over there in Europe and things like that. But, like the scriptures speak about the whore that rideth upon the beast, all right, America is the head of that Western led bloc, all right, and the rest of them, NATO and the EU, all right. So let's go into what I wanted to grab. Okay, Revelation 6 and 4. All right, this is Revelation 6 verse 4, and it says, and there were not another horse that was red, and power was given unto him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. All right. And so, hey, going back into what we just read about how the earth was given into the hand of the wicked. All right. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. All right. He is also given that position of power to take peace from the earth. All right, and so this is what you're starting to see happen, man. This is what these nations are starting to call out, man. All right, let me grab this precept real quick and come back to that. Salakia. Isaiah 14 and verse 16 says, they that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake the kingdoms, that made the world a wilderness, that destroyed the cities thereof, and opened not the house of his prisoners? All right, and so, hey, these nations right now are calling you out for, again, your hegemony, man. All right, your complete dominance of the earth, man. So, if not, who and where is he? Who are these nations calling out as saying have this hegemon over top of the whole earth? Who has this so to say, this big umbrella over top of the earth? All right, who's the nations that's extracting all the resources from the earth? Who's the nations that's taking all the kings from the earth, that's overthrowing governments, have staging what they call coup d'etats, overthrowing governments and setting up their own puppet governments, man? Who is the nations that's doing all these things, man? It's not China, it's not Russia. Now, they will have you believe that Russia is over here meddling in the U.S. elections and everything else like that, and they're setting up their own puppets and things like that. But hey, who is the nations that's actually overthrowing governments and have, like, you had the Maidan coup in Ukraine some years back. That's how they got their puppet leader up over there now. All right. But then you have Slack, give me 1 second. Get a swig of this water. All right, Salakia. That's how you have their man in office over there. They had a different guy over there before that, but pretty much it's all the same thing. All right, and also in these other places, man. All right, they set up these different nations, or these different puppet leaders inside of these nations by way of what? Overthrowing governments. All right, well, let's go up a little bit. Isaiah 14 and 9, it says, hell from beneath is moved to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It has raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. All right. So, hey, man, you overthrowing these rulers, man, and putting your own people into place, man. All right. So now these nations, let's go back to verse 16. It says, they that see thee shall nearly look upon thee and consider thee, saying. All right. So now what? You have these nations that's eyeing America and calling them out for their BS. It says, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake the kingdoms, that made the world a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof? Is this the man that's over here overthrowing governments? Is this the man that's over here plotting uprisings and coups in different nations? All right, now you hear only over here in America saying that they're plotting in the Russians meddling in the elections and everything else like that, but there's no proof of that. If anything, they the ones dealing with their own elections just to make it seem like they when you know that a majority of people is going for one thing and buying a certain product, all of a sudden you could tell when things don't go out the way that you would think. But you Americans don't even realize that it's not your popular vote that gets the we're not going to get into that, but nevertheless, you know what I'm saying here. All right, but you would think that that's the big smoke and mirrors. Oh, Russians is meddling in this and that, so on and so forth. But in reality, look at who's actually been known for, go and look at go on Google and look up how many times the U.S. government has overthrown foreign governments, all right? Or how many times the CIA has overthrown foreign governments. And you'd be surprised to see how many times this has actually happened, man. Raising up the kings from the earth, man, all right? And taking down different nations. So now you have nations that's calling them out over their hegemony over the earth, man, all right? Taking their resources, all right? So let's go back to that Revelation. Revelation 6 and 4 says, and there went out another horse that was red, and power was given unto him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. Now, see, when America goes into these different nations, man, all right, he's not going over there. You see, they talking about liberating the people of Ukraine and all these other nations and doing all these different things. But, man, what is the civilians living like over in Ukraine since America went over there, man? They over there getting bombarded with war and everything else like that. And it's not just because one day Russia woke up and decided to bomb their ass, and then like now America had to go over there to go save the damn day. Nah, America went over there first, and then this is the retaliation that comes with it. So you see that these things have something in common. Wherever America goes, death and destruction follows, man. All right, verse 8. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell follow with him. All right, just like we were speaking on, man, with all these different nations where you see a Babylon the Great go. All right, it's not the fact that the life get better for those people, man. Look at Iraq. Look at Afghanistan. Look at Pakistan. Look at Libya. Look at all these different places. Wherever America or these Edomites go anywhere, all right, death and hell follows, man. It don't turn into a peaceful place. Look at America, man. All right, you know, you had clean water over here. You had all kind of lush animals and things like that. You didn't have concrete jungles built up over here, crime and pollution built up over here. Now you got piles of trash, you know, all over the streets in the cities and everything else like that. Boarded up buildings and things like that. Collapsing infrastructure, man. Everywhere Esau goes, death and hell follows him, man. All right, and hey, now you're getting called out for this. All right. It says, and power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth to kill with the sword and with hunger and with death and with the beast of the earth. And this is what Esau does to a T. Let me get back into this here article a little bit. But it says, the West will cross every line to preserve this neo-colonial system. All right, this new colonialization, man. All right, this hegemony taking over the whole earth. It says the West will cross every line to preserve this neo-colonial system, which allows it to parasite the world, essentially rob it through the power of the dollar and technological supremacy to collect tribute from humanity. All right, extract the main source of its unearned wealth. Hegemon's rent, the Russian president said in his speech on Friday. So again, like I said, man, I didn't grab it out yet, but we'll get to it in Habakkuk 2. How it speaks about he gathers unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. This is the point and the reason that he does all these things, man. When they talk about a new world order, a one world government, one world peace, just like going back to the Tower of Babel, it's not that everybody's going to be on the same equal playing field and everything else like that. You know, when people say, we should all come together and this and that. Yeah, when everybody come together, there's going to have to be somebody over top of them. You know, you go from a place from, you have multiple different places with multiple different leaders to having everybody all together as one. Now you have one leader over top of them. And if that one leader over top of you decide that we're going to poison everybody, then you just got one dictator over top of the whole world instead of like, well, we got multiple different places with multiple different leaders. Some leaders are good, some leaders are bad. Hey, you can go wherever you want to go. But, you know, if you over here, you're going to have to take the brunt of the force. All right. So, hey, this is the world that is going towards where Esau's trying to get that complete dominance over the whole earth, which he already pretty much has it. But, hey, he's clamping down on that power, man, trying to bring into his new world order, man. All right. It says preserving this arrangement is the true motive that underlies the policies of the Western elites. And that's why their governments try to strip every other nation of their sovereignty, according to Putin. Now, forget what Putin say. All right. Look around the earth and see if this is not true. Now, you just had the queen that passed away, and they was basically swearing in. There's a different term for it, but swearing in King Charles over all of their so-called commonwealths and everything else like that. So you can see now America comes from the British. All right, that's their daughter. But you can understand about neo-colonialism. They went forth and conquered the whole earth. Then you had America that that came back and remixed the whole thing, man. All right, they're going out and doing the same thing. Like you have a term called the British Virgin Islands, the American Virgin Islands, and their commonwealths and everything else like that. All right, now you want to see how far the American empire really is. See, most people think of the United States of America, but they don't realize there is something called the American empire. Go and look around the earth, or go on Google and search up U.S. military bases around the world. All right, and then go back on Google and type in NATO bases around the world. All right, and you combine them two, and you'll see how far the American empire stretches. All right. Oh, well, NATO and America, two different things. You know, NATO is a collective. Well, yeah, who was the head of NATO though? All right, so you know what I'm saying. It's the same thing. All right, but you look up and you see how far the American borders actually stretch. You'll see what the American empire is and how they got there, man. Look up the history of it, man. Look up the history of America. How long did the United States of America, as you know it today, has been around, and look at how many years the United States of America has been at war. All right, damn near it's only been like 20 years or something like that that they have not been at war since their whole entire existence as the United States of America, man. All right, so this here place has been, how does the scripture say, that destroyed the whole earth, all right, to hammer the whole earth, but is this the man that made the world a wilderness, that destroyed the cities thereof? All right, you've been destroying the whole earth and taking people captive, man. All right. It says leaders of the nations targeted by the West face the choice of voluntarily submitting to his dictates, being bribed into doing the same, or having destruction and misery brought upon their homelands by the U.S. and its allies. So the whore rideth upon the beast, taking peace from the earth. All right, taking all these other nations up under them to do what? To extract their resources and put them into captivity, basically, man. All right, you think that hey, everybody hates America because we have freedoms. No, man, y'all don't really know your history of what you out there doing, man. All right, you don't really realize what you out here doing to these other nations and everything else like that, man. So when these nations are calling you out, it's not that they calling you out. I was watching a video the other day and they was talking about listen to what the bad guy, quote unquote, the bad guys actually demanded. Don't listen to what your media is saying about certain things. Listen to what the bad guy is saying himself. All right. They was talking about what's his name? Bin Laden. They was saying, well, the media was telling you that Bin Laden hated America because of their freedoms and stuff. But it was like, nah, listen to what Bin Laden saying. Bin Laden saying he don't like y'all because of what y'all been doing to them Arabs over there and what y'all doing over there to, basically just a bunch of Muslims and stuff like that, which, hey, they was over there bombing them and so on and so forth. And wouldn't you think that somebody will retaliate over certain things that would be being done unto them? Or it's just like, America so-called retaliating on the attack of Pearl Harbor. Hey, y'all attacked us, so we got to go back and attack y'all. And the same thing with, he was talking about Putin. All right, they said, oh, well, they just want to go over there. It was unprovoked. They just, Russia's a boogeyman and everything else like that. I was like, no, well, Vladimir Putin had drew a clear line, all right, that NATO, first of all, forget what Putin said back at the end of the USSR, part of the deal of the collapse of the USSR, that NATO wouldn't move an inch closer to the east. And every president since that point in time, I think it was Bill Clinton, but every president since that time has been expanding closer and closer and closer to the east. Now that they're all up on Russia's borders right about now, man. All right, so you have, well, not only do you have that, you have the situation with Ukraine, where Russia said, look, the red line is that Ukraine would never join NATO, all right, or none of those types of factions. They could be a neutral country, but they would never join NATO. And y'all not going to be sitting over here arming this here country, putting y'all arms inside of this here country, all right? And that was the red flag for Russia. And, hey, the West crossed that red line, all right? And now you have the retaliation strike. So it's not that it's like unprovoked. It's not that these things just happen all of a sudden. No, man, these things are happening for a reason, all right? It says greed and the intention to preserve unlimited power are the true causes of the hybrid war, which the collective West is waging against Russia. So, you talk about World War III. All right, now there's going to be a point in time where people will try to figure out why we had World War III. And it was funny back in the days, people used to think that there would be no such thing as World War III. There's still what they call rhetoric right now, talking about how weak the West is, or how weak Russia is, and how they ain't got this and they don't have that and everything else like that. But hey, man, they're going to find out the hard way that one day they're going to wake up in the midst of World War III. They're going to be in the midst of which you already are, but I'm just saying in a more solid way of knowing it's going to be on the news. All right. At any point in time, Russia's sending its bombers over this way and everything else like that, which, actually they'll just shoot their nukes over here instead of just sending the planes over, and why waste time? Just get straight to the point. All right. But one day, you Americans are going to try to figure out how the hell you got to where you went. All right. But then these are all the steps. These are all the things that's been building up to that time frame, man. But yet and still people want to ignore the signs, ignore the things that's going on, not taking heed to the signs of everything that's going on around them. But hey, this is what's going to lead to your demise, man. Like the scriptures say, your own schemes will be your downfall. All right. You're caught into a trap, by your own net. All right. It says they don't wish freedom for us. They want us to be a colony. They don't want cooperation of equals, but pillaging. They want to see us not as a free society, but as but a crowd of soulless slaves. And that's, America to a T. All right, gathered unto them all nations. All right. It says Putin delivered the speech in Moscow before signing treaties with the Donetsk and the Luhansk People's Republic, as well as the Kherson and I can't pronounce it, this other region, on their ascension to the Russian Federation. The documents must be ratified by Parliament before coming into force. Well, let's read this last piece right here. It says the move was condemned by Kiev, which considered to be an illegal annexation of the territory. Moscow said the ascension was legitimized by referendums held in the former Ukrainian regions, in which peoples overwhelmingly voted in favor of splitting from Kiev and seeking protection from Russia against the attacks by Kiev forces. Now, just going into the point of these nations calling America out for their hegemony, man. All right, and it's going to be a point in time where we're starting to see this even happen now, where America's allies are going to do the same thing too. It's like, hey man, this, you have like Macron, France and them talking about the same thing. Hey man, we got to be diplomatic, man. We can't just be sitting over here being making rash decisions and just jumping out there and everything else like that, man. We got to be diplomatic, because this whole thing could just blow up in our face, man. All right, the whole world is being destabilized right here at this here point in time, and these are the recipes for what? A world war. All right, but let me go ahead and grab. And I quoted it quite a few times, but Habakkuk 2 and let me start at 5 and going down. It says, yea, also because he transgresses by wine. All right. So, hey, that wine goes into, their so-called philosophies, their doctrines and things like that. A transgression by wine. Hey, y'all get rid of the USSR. We'll stop. First of all, NATO is built to combat the USSR. All right. A conglomeration up against, a conglomeration of nations to battle against USSR because it was so big and vast. All right, but then now the USSR is no more. NATO didn't disintegrate into nothing. All right, well, what wound up happening? They said, hey, look, we're not going to expand no more to the east. But what wound up happening, man? They kept expanding and expanding and expanding all the way up into Russia's borders. So now you have to understand that Russia's going to sit there and defend their territory, man. It's like, hey, man, it's either that we stand up and we fight, or we get taken over by these people, man. All right, what are y'all going to do about it? What do y'all want to do about this, man? Are we not going to sit here and let these folks take advantage of us like this, man? All right. It says, yea, also because he transgresses by wine, he is a proud man and neither keepeth at home. All right. So how do you sit there and say, hey, look, we got to worry about the protection and how they say the number one thing for us is they call it national security. All right. Now, when you hear about national security, all right, national security, you would think about the term of it. National security is to protect the American borders. But in reality, national security goes into, the fact of protecting America's hegemony of being the top nation on top. All right. If anything is to overthrow them, like let's say if, America stops becoming the world reserve currency. All right. Nobody can be posing a threat against you on your borders. But guess what? Hey, America got to go to war for those things. Look at the last few countries that America invaded. All right. It was all over what? Them trying to get up off of that petrodollar, man. All right. It says, yea, also because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man and neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desire as hell, and his death cannot be satisfied. All right. But gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. All right, so let me see. Let me read this in NLT. It says, wealth is treacherous and the arrogance are never at rest. They open their mouth as wide as the grave, and like death they are never satisfied. In their greed they have gathered up many nations and swallowed many people. So just like the article is saying, so they talk about we're hate groups and we're this and we're that. Hey man, we just reading the scriptures and y'all just so happen to be fitting the description. So now you mad that we connecting the dots here and you being exposed out here, man. All right, because anybody with the spiritual eyes can sit here and say, oh damn, there's the devil right there, man. He fit the description, man. It's just like when they have those crimes and things like that that's going on, and the police is looking for so and so. It's like, hey, you fit the description. We're looking for a tall Edomite male with a white shirt and green hair, some purple shoes on and some pink lipstick on. And you just so happen to see somebody walking down the street to fit the description and be like, that's him right there. He fit the description. I'm not being racist or calling you out. I'm just saying somebody said that somebody with this here description robbed a store. You in the area, you look exact. How many people around here looking like this, man? How many other people fit these descriptions of, gathered unto them all these different nations? How many different nations do you see? What other nations do you see on the other side of the globe with their damn military fighting a conflict like that? Where do you see you say, oh, China and Taiwan? Well, that's part of their nation. You don't see China over here in what you call it, Chile or Argentina over here doing all kinds of shit. Now China is in Africa, but that's with business and things like that. They're not over there with their military stuff. So we finna go over here and take hold of this place and take hold of that place. And you don't see the same thing with Russia at all, man. The only people that's around the whole earth with all their military bases around the whole globe like that is America, man. All right, that's the ones that's in really these Edomites as a whole, but being headed by America, they're the ones that fit this here description, man. Verse 6 says, shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, and how long to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. Now we just read in the article how they was using their technology and their printing of their money and everything else like that to gather unto them all these different nations to spread their hegemony. It says, shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booty unto them. So these nations are how you say, eyeing you up right about now, man. It says, because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood and for the violence of the land and all the city and of all that dwell therein. All right, so all these different nations are about to start to spoil you, man. They're eyeing you up for booty, for the spoil, man. All right, but hey, this is America to the T, man. All right. Not only are we calling you out, but hey, these other nations are calling you out, man. You know, you speak on this quite often. How first it started spreading with the prophets among from prophet to prophet saying these things, and then from the prophets to the majority of our people waking them up with this here notion. Then you started having these things being spoken about and just on a so-called local level or domestic level here in America. But now it's into the international level where you have these other heads of state, other world leaders that are saying the same thing, man. So now this here word is going forth, man. This vibration is being lifted up on the whole earth, man. And now Esau is being called out for his wickedness, man. It's only a short amount of time before Esau comes to the whole the end of his reign. But I'm gonna go ahead and close out with that. Lord willing, the elect was edified with this here lesson. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders, the great millstone, that taught us this truth and that we will. And citation, much love for you, Aki, pushing this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Until next time, I say, stay strong. Shalom.